the Hammer Down Racing Report. And now your hosts, Scott Hammer, Ron Miller, and Jerry Keyser.
Welcome, race fans, to the Hammer Down Racing Report. I was enjoying, I can see Jerry. He was rocking out during our theme song. That's what I saw.
If you're not playing air drums, you're not doing it right. So,
nice. Again, thanks to Inner Circle Avenue for that.
Absolutely.
Theme song. This is the Hammer Down Racing Report, sponsored by or presented by Oakshade Raceway for Thursday, June 17th, show number 184. And tonight on the show, we'll be speaking, or we're going to be talking some school bus figure eights with Jack Franzil, Terry Smith will be joining us. They're getting ready. I guess they're getting the school buses ready for the school bus figure eight show tomorrow night at Toledo Speedway. So, and apparently they have a long and storied career at both Toledo and Flat Rock. So I'm sure we'll get into that as well.
Very cool.
Coming at you live on Facebook, YouTube, and Twitter. Make sure to like us on Facebook, follow us on Twitter. At Hammer Report, we'll go over the this week's Hammer Down Racing Report poll. Are you tired of seeing Kyle Larson win just about everything?
Not yet.
Well,
not especially not if he does it like he did it last night. That was so much fun to watch.
25 minutes left in that poll if you want to get in on it. Just saying. Right now, I don't think anybody's going to sway it at this point from what I see. Make sure to listen to us on your favorite podcasting platform, including Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Google Podcasts, and of course you can check out hammerdownracingreport.com for all the information that you need. I was looking at some of our data. Every once in a while I'll pull up our metrics from all the different avenues that we broadcast on, and I was kind of surprised that India, we have a large following in India. So thank you guys.
Really?
Yeah.
Must be the beer.
It's the third most downloads for our podcast behind
really?
The U.S. and Australia. Then it's India, not Canada. India. I'm sure it's all legit too. I'm sure. Some other interesting things that I found. Maybe you find this interesting. That most of our downloads come from Apple Podcasts. I guess that really doesn't matter. And our YouTube numbers since last fall. I looked at. I go by quarters. So from last quarter of 2020 to first quarter this year, we have more than doubled our YouTube numbers as far as people watching on YouTube. So we got to pay more attention to that. We're up to 4? Yes, from 2. You're right. Exactly.
Is that like the double pay I get since I'm back?
Yeah.
That's it.
Some other things that were kind of strange is based on the platform we're on, I went to look and see what was our most popular show from the first quarter. Right. Thinking that, maybe the Kenny Wallace one would obviously be across the board. No, not necessarily.
Really?
The most downloaded, as far as just the audio only part, was the Andy King Dirt Track Truck Series podcast.
Really?
That was, yes.
There you go. Way to go, Andy.
On YouTube, our talk with Jake Steele about racetrack safety was our most watched show on there.
And that was an important show.
Yeah. Kenny Wallace was the most watched on Twitter, although I was having some issues with the Twitter data since it's kind of merged with Periscope and they shut Periscope down. I had to go through individually to find stuff on there. And on Facebook, our most watched was Cap Henry and the Attica Raceway season preview. Yeah.
No Dr. Jerry Punch episode in
that was last. This is just first quarter. This is January through March. Yeah, that was last year we talked to Jerry Punch. So
that's right. That was okay.
I'll look that up for you and find out.
Just curious how many viewers we had on that, because that was a very cool episode. Speaking of which, I did talk to Bounce Ryder a couple weeks ago. He did say that Dr. Punch is interested in getting back with us again. So, and then he's
love to have them.
Yeah,
absolutely.
So,
That was a fun show.
Yes, it was. That was pretty awesome.
We didn't have to do much. We just shut up and listen.
It's like just point them in a direction and go. Jerry back with us, and you're back for the full show now?
Yes, I'm back for the full show. Unfortunately, we had to cut the season short there with the iRacing deal, and which was, kind of interest kind of waned just with racing season starting on the real tracks. Guys just didn't want to sit in front of the computer as much anymore. So we're working to get ready for fall to get the Hillbilly High Banks completely up and running. Things are really close. I'm just down there yesterday. Things look amazing. But I'm excited about what this fall is going to bring with Tim Sims and iRacing and the Dirt Racing Network, UDTV, and iRacing in general. It should be fun.
All right. Well, we got the weekend weather pit stop coming up later on, as well as we'll be giving away a Big D's pizza with this week's How Many, and it's going to be another little bit complicated one. You might have to do some math in it, and we'll talk about that later. We'll get the racing roundup underway in just a moment. We got to thank some of our sponsors, of course, Oakshade Raceway, where the fastest meet to race every Saturday night. This weekend, it's going to be a big one. June 19th, the 5,000 to win Barney Oldfield race. I've been seeing some of the messages coming in on that. Some pretty big names have been asking about tire rules and stuff. So looking forward to that on Saturday. Sportsman Bombers Compacts also in action. $14 general admission. Gates open at 4, racing at 7, and that is an American Late Model Series sanctioned event as well. Real Geese Silhouette Decoys, the most technologically advanced goose and duck decoys ever produced. They're manufactured here in the U.S. Check out realgeese.com or call 419-800-8100. Check out some of the Real Geese products they have on sale on the website there as well. Speaking of which, should make the little scroll go, too. Oh, and I was told we have more characters in the scroll now from our buddies over at Sandusky Speedway.
Yeah.
So I'll have to get you added in there.
Oh, really?
Yeah, because you're on your own separate scroll.
Well, I kind of appreciated
you're
that.
You're all by yourself right there. Let's keep it there.
No competition.
People that are downloading us in India now that don't watch the video have no idea what we're talking about. So let's move on. I want to also thank Millstream Speedway, Big D's Pizza, Ron Miller Race Cars, freeze frame photos as well, and we'll talk more about them a little bit later. And we do have a Hammer Down hotline coming up later tonight. But,
buddy.
That's enough of the teases. Let's get this racing roundup going.
All right, this week's racing roundup. Before I get kicked off with it, I do want to talk a little bit about our grudge race from 2 weeks ago since I missed last week's show.
Yeah, I thanked you guys for letting me win, so I appreciate that.
It was an honor to be on the track with both you guys. I had so much fun being back in the truck for the first time in 4 years. I can't say enough about the racetrack at Oakshade, and just the whole night I couldn't get the smile off my face. Chris Blykamp and his son helped out a bunch. Dave Gumby was huge in helping me get stuff done and get ready to race all night. Craig Dittman also gave me a couple pointers, and the truck was awesome. The driver, not so much. So I got to knock some rust off yet before I try it again. But thank you guys so much for helping get that put together. That was a lot of fun.
When we get ready for V2 of that program, I expect you'll have some more seat time. Scott, you'll be doing well. And Kurt Dickey has volunteered to loan me his race car. So I'm thinking we can do heads up without any
with all bombers,
without any handicap. Yeah.
Well, if I can get a bomber lined up, I think that would be a
you
blast.
were fast enough.
You were fast enough.
Scott blew by me pretty good there at the end. I tried to keep it close and got a little too high in 4, but Scott ran me down. It was, the truck was good for being a 4-cylinder. The V6s were tough that night, but a 4-cylinder, obviously Greg Dutray was able to pick up the win in his 4-cylinder provided by Andy King. So that was so much fun. Those guys. I know everybody I talked to in the trucks loved being at Oakshade, so hopefully we get to do that again and very soon. So
yeah, with my tail between my legs, we loaded the car in the trailer, and the next morning I found out that I had a flat right front.
So you blew by me a few laps in,
which really explained why I had such a wicked push.
That would do it.
I'm sure that was it.
Shut up, Scott.
Thank you for everybody sent well wishes. I am on the men still, but I am about 75%. I'm going to try to be at Lima Lane and Shady Bowl this weekend. So after my accident last week, so that's as much as I'm going to say. Just say that I am still a little sore and tender in spots that aren't very fun. But with that said, let's get into this week's racing roundup. Last weekend at Eldora, Brandon Overton. Wow, what a sweep. Broke through to take his first career crown jewel victory in the 27th late model dream at Eldora Speedway. The win was worth $127,000. Overton survived several challenges from Tim McCready, who finished second. Kyle Bronson came back from a cut tire to finish third. On Friday night, Overton and Greg Satterley were each winners in the $10,000 to win 25 features in the preliminary night for the 26th annual Dirt Late Model Dream. Overton completed one of the greatest achievements in dirt track history Saturday night with his 4th feature win in 4 days, sweeping both the 27th and 26th runnings of the Dirt Late Model Dream for an incredible $273,000 in prize money. Chris Madden took the lead from Overton on lap 75, which lasted until 10 laps until Overton retook the lead and pulled away to a 2-second lead over runner-up Madden. Chris Ferguson rounded out the podium on Saturday night. At Attica Raceway Park, Ian Madsen broke through to win night 1 of the 39th annual Cometic Gasket Ohio Sprint Speed Week on Friday night. Corey Eliason would battle from 5th to finish 2nd, followed by Skylar G., Cole Macedo, and Tyler Courtney. Devin Shields passed Matt Irie on the last lap to take the UMP late model feature. Dave Hornikiel finished 3rd. Speaking of Ian Madsen, did you guys hear about that deal?
No.
Ian has lost his ride. The
Really?
McGee number 11. As of last night, Spencer Baston was behind the wheel of that machine, and they thanked Ian Madsen and said Spencer is in the vehicle for the rest of the year. So interesting stuff going on there with the Sam McGee 11, as Madsen was running 2nd in all-star points. So very surprised.
Now, is Madsen heading back home, or is he going to stay here?
I have no idea. Like I said, he wasn't in anything last night at Waynesfield. I don't know. I haven't checked the lineup yet at Muskingum County yet tonight, so we'll have to see if he lands somewhere quick or if he's going to be back to back home or back to Knoxville and doing the local stuff. But very, very surprised to hear that information as the week is unfolded. Lima Land on Friday, Harley White picked up her 2nd win in 2021 in the NRA Sprint Invader competition in a 4,000 to win Ron Colley Jr. Memorial feature over Randy Hannigan and Ricky Peterson. This was an amazing, amazing feature. Randy Hannigan looked to have it covered with just about 6 laps to go. He still had a 1.7 second lead, and Harley White ran him down and got by him on the final lap, and the crowd was eating it up. It was just amazing to see that young lady pick up that win. I hated seeing Hannigan lose that kind of win, but it was fun to watch. Hannigan did come home 2nd. Ricky Peterson was 3rd. Craig Dittman won the Thunderstock feature over Jeffrey Jessup and Chris Douglas. Todd Sherman bagged his 52nd career Lima Land win in the modifieds over Brandon Ordway and Dylan Woodling. Sherman's on a roll this year. He's looking great in the modified. I don't see anybody that's going to stop that, as he is just so steady. We'll see what happens starting tomorrow with the All-Stars. As long as we get the show in, the modifieds will be in action as well. Fremont Speedway, Cole Duncan squeezed between the front stretch wall and raced long leader Danny Dietrich to win night 2 of the Cometic Gasket Ohio Sprint Speed Week and claim his 5th victory by a margin of just 0.248 seconds. Dietrich started on the pole and led the first 39 3/4 laps, but had to settle for 2nd. Justin Peck rounded out the podium. Paul Weaver and Alvin Ripke were battling for the 305 sprint feature lead when dealing with lap traffic. With 3 laps to go, the duo made contact exiting turn 4, and then Weaver got caught up with a lap car spinning. Alvin Ripke was able to nurse his car, which had a mangled front wing the last 3 laps, his 2nd win of the season and the 11th of his career at Fremont. Cody Brewer finished 2nd, and Chris Verta finished 3rd. At Shady Bowl Speedway, the Wooten Automotive Towing Modifieds, 50 lap modified madness feature for 1,500 to win. Mike Carroll picked up the win. That was his 2nd win at Shady Bowl in 2021. The Adams Automotive Street Stocks, it was Rodney Roush picking up the win on the final lap over Terry Portillo. Very wild battle there. So I've seen some video of that. That was kind of cool. In the Bullet Liner Dayton Thunder Cars, it was Scott Drake picking up the win. That was his 3rd of the year at Shady Bowl. The Tuners, which we'll talk about here in a second, the feature was won by Gary Eaton Jr. The Tuners have been discontinued for the season at Shady Bowl. They're taking the money that they had set aside for the Tuners for 2021. They're giving that to the Compacts. So the Compacts now at Shady Bowl are going to pay $500 to win on a weekly basis and $100 to start for Compacts. So that's kind of huge. I'm hoping that's going to see our car count just explode. It's going to be a lot of fun. I mean, the Compacts they put on a great show at Shady Bowl, so it's going to be fun to see. At Oakshade Raceway, Chris Keller just edged out Rusty Schlenk in a barn burner of a late model feature event to pick up his 1st win of the year. Steve Kester finished 3rd. Rusty Smith cruised to his 4th Sportsman feature win of the year over Carter Murday and Mike Jessen. Colin Schilt and Gabe Mueller had a great battle for the lead on the final lap of the Bomber A main, swapping it a couple times with Schilt able to snatch it away from Mueller coming off the final corner. Jeff Folks Jr. was 3rd. Joe Carr made a last lap pass to win the compact feature over Eric Carr and Todd Drews, and Ronnie Bloomfield won the Bomber B.
That was an incredible feature. Actually, there's a lot of great racing last Saturday at Oakshade, but Ron, you had a pretty good seat for everything that was going on in that late model feature. We had red flags. We had
boy.
Dusty Moore bursting into flames while he was leading.
Yeah.
I saw pictures from that. That was incredible. The pictures from Dusty's explosion there.
Yeah, he'll be back this week.
And you were proud of your kid. He did pretty good in
Oh
that race.
boy, Steve.
Yeah, I saw that. Steve had a great run, didn't he?
Yeah, he ran fifth and just a real good feature. Stayed nice and clean. Never touched a car all night, Jerry. It proud papa.
I don't blame you. I wish I was up there to see it. I always love seeing you guys have great runs like that, and I hope hopefully to get back up to Oakshade soon to see it again. So,
Oh, you'll be there.
oh yeah. Flat Rock Speedway was in action last weekend. Rob Moore Jr. snuck under race leader Paul Pelletier and Max Fair in the final two laps to grab the thrilling win in the street stock feature Saturday night. Rob's uncle, Tim Moore, captured the 25-lap B main. Matt Kemp took the win in the 25-lap Steve Martin Memorial for the MCR Dwarf cars. And Kyle Met-DePennigan scored the victory in the 250-lap The Vault Enduro race. At Sandusky Speedway in the Renegades, Ben Watson took the checkers over Kenny Sharp and Mike Protzman Jr. in the Pure Stocks. In the Pure Stocks, Kyle Larson took another victory. Kyle Lawson, not Larson. Lawson took another
Wait a
victory
minute.
over J.D. Lawson and Anthony Greco. Although it wouldn't surprise me, Larson wins in everything. He could probably jump in at Sandusky and do the same thing. In the beginner stocks, it was Spencer Atkins crossing the finish line ahead of Ethan Rosiska and Colton Fowler finishing third. Saturday night, Clayton Oliver won the Renegade feature, and Corey Michaels was the Enduro winner. Eldora Speedway, once again, like we talked about, Brandon Overton broke through. Take the first night of the dream, $127,000.
I put that in there twice, didn't I?
Yes, you did. You got me on the prep. I didn't get a chance to read through it like I normally do to be ahead of that. That's all right. World of Outlaws NOS Energy Drink Sprint Cars. Carson Macedo soared to victory on Friday night in World of Outlaws NOS Energy Drink Sprint Series action at Knoxville Raceway. Macedo roared past Kerry Madsen with 3 laps left for his first career 410 sprint victory at Knoxville. Logan Schuchart crossed the line second, and Madsen held on to finish third. Carson Macedo made a weekend sweep of the Brownells Big Guns Bash at Knoxville for the second night in a row. Kerry Madsen finished second, and Sheldon Hodenshield rounded out the podium. Next up for the World of Outlaws Sprint Series, 34 Raceway in West Burlington, Iowa tonight. Dubuque Fairground Speedway in Dubuque, Iowa tomorrow night. The Jim J.B. Moyd Memorial at Beaver Dam Raceway in Beaver Dam, Wisconsin on Saturday. Then it's off to Huset Speedway in Brandon, South Dakota on Monday and Tuesday, the 21st and 22nd. In Flow Racing All-Star Circuit of Champions action, Kyle Larson picked up the win over Zeb Wise and Paul McMahon at Monday at Wayne County Speedway. Danny Dietrich fended off All-Star Circuit of Champions point leader Tyler Courtney to win round 4 of Ohio Sprint Speed Week Tuesday night at Sharon Speedway, the only race that Kyle Larson's lost in the last 5 days. He's the 4th different winner in 4 Speed Week events. Tyler Courtney finished second, and Justin Peck rounded up the podium. At Waynesfield Raceway Park last night, Larson again parked it in victory lane with Rico Abreu second and Tyler Courtney through third. Abreu did not make it easy on Larson in that feature. He was all over him throughout the event. It was really, really good racing, and loved seeing Waynesfield with the crowd that they had. And also, Jared Horseman picked up the NRA Sprint Invader win last night, so that was really cool to see that. Next up for Speed Week tonight at Muskegon County Speedway, tomorrow at Limaland Motorsports Park, and then Speed Week wraps up Saturday at Portsmouth Raceway Park with a rain date of Sunday if needed for that Dean Niddle Memorial, paying, I believe it's $17,554 to win for the finale. So,
hey, before we go on with the NASCAR and IndyCar and Camping World SRX Series results, how about we pull up Jack?
Sounds good.
Is that okay with you?
Absolutely.
I told him we call between 7:20 and 7:15, 7:20, and
I'm not as fast as I usually am. I'm getting a little rusty. Been off for
we were blabbing a little bit there too, so I blame myself. It's probably both of our fault. It was all of us.
We like to talk.
Is this Jack?
Yes, it is.
Hey, Jack, it's Scott Hammer, Jerry Keyser, and Ron Miller. Hammer Down Race Report. How's it going?
Going good.
So you're working.
Jack.
So you're working on the buses tonight, right? Getting ready for tomorrow night.
Yeah, we there's always something to do to the very last minute.
Okay, and you're there with Terry Smith, right?
Yep. We're trying to. How do we get on your little Zoom box there or whatever it is?
That link I sent you. Can you, if you hang up and go to that email and click on that link, and you should be able to get that way, and we can see you then. You want to give that? You want to give that a try? We'll probably have to hang up to do that.
Unless he could have a laptop there that he could go on.
No, I don't. I'm on the phone.
Okay.
You want to try and log in that way?
I just hit the link. We'll see what happens.
Okay. We'll see if you pop in here. I don't know if it'll work if you're on the phone though at the same time.
Right.
I don't know either.
Let me hang up.
All right. If we don't hear back for you, I'll give you a call in about 5 minutes or so.
All right.
All right. So one way or another, we'll get Jack on here. You want to go ahead with the NASCAR results until we pop in here?
We'll do that. I just want to thank
Organic.
Yeah, I want to talk about a couple comments I just saw. Chris Mize asked if Gene's still at Lima. Gene actually did retire from Lima Land a few years ago. He did show up He came in last Friday and helped us get the track back in order after some rough nights earlier in the season. So thank you to Gene Frankert for showing up. Dean Henry also said, looks like Ian Madsen is not at Muskingum County tonight. And Dean also mentioned last night's Hell Tour race in Peoria, Illinois. If you guys didn't watch that on Dirt Vision, you missed out on a barn burner. Bobby Pierce picked up the win, but wow, what a race with Bobby. I'm trying to remember who was second, but it was a great race. So, hey, looky there.
Look at that.
Is that too bright in the background?
It works. We can kind of see you.
We can see silhouettes.
Yeah, we can see silhouettes. The important thing is we can hear you. That's the important thing. I see buses behind you there.
Right.
So we got Jack and Terry, right?
Correct.
And you guys are the inspectors then at Toledo Speedway and Flat Rock Speedway as well.
Unfortunately so, yes.
Good evening, Terry.
Hey, how are you?
Pretty good, buddy.
Haven't seen you in a while.
No, I'm around.
Yeah, I was there last year and seen you run a few times.
All right.
Yeah.
Let me say congrats on beating Kenny Schrader a few weeks ago at Toledo Speedway in his very first school bus figure eight.
He had a good experience.
Did he? I enjoyed his interview after the race was over with Gary Lindahl.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
He had a few choice words. I believe he said, "I didn't realize you had to be an asshole."
Yeah, that's what he said.
So how was that beating, somewhat of Kenny Schrader's stature? Yeah. I know it's just for fun, but
he hurt that bus pretty good, but we got it fixed.
Same. So that bus we're going to see in action again?
Yes, you will.
Yep.
Speaking of that, I meant to ask, where did these buses come from? Are they donated? Do you guys buy them? Where do
we get them at auctions, and we got the Lewis Avenue Baptist Church bus out here. They get them from schools and churches, and they're on their last leg,
How much work do you guys have to actually put into them to make them last through a night of figure eight racing?
We put we got a roll cage that goes in it, and seat belts, and the big work comes in after the race. You're trying to get another race out of the bus. So now you got to, the radiator gets crunched, we just take the radiator out and just put the hoses back together. And, the diesels love it.
There's like 6 of these buses out here right now that do not have radiators in them.
Right.
And they've ran about 5 or 6 races already.
So are there any new buses for this for tomorrow night? Or are these all buses that have had experience?
No, these have all ran.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
No, I know that Archie Paget, wasn't it Archie that laid one over a couple of weeks ago?
Yeah.
And
AJ,
that one will run again.
Oh
Yeah,
yeah. It's right
I
behind
think
us.
All right.
he kept running in that race. They rolled it back over and he kept going.
Yeah, he stopped because he was on a rim.
Oh.
Has anybody really used the roll bars?
No.
Well, we don't want to find out.
Yeah.
Well, I noticed after the race they had, because the right front of Kenny Schrader's bus where the door was kind of collapsed, so they had to get him out through the emergency door in the back,
Right.
which is actually what it's used for.
Right.
So I'm assuming you had to do a lot of work to get that straightened back out.
We got it back where you can get inside of it and everything, but yeah, you can't see it right now. I don't think. This big yellow
the
bus.
yellow one back there, yeah.
Right. Yeah.
So how long how long does it take you to get these things back together so that you guys can go race them again?
We'll come out here 2 or 3 nights a week for a couple of weeks and piece them together.
I suppose it all depends on how nicely the guys play.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, Terry and I, we have to fix them and work on them. So you think we would be a little easier on equipment, but it's not the case.
That's not the case.
No, you guys each won. Jack, you won the very last one that was
Right.
at Toledo Speedway, and Terry, you've won before. So,
Yep.
Yeah.
I mean, what is the learning curve of driving I know you guys both you've had regular racing and figure eight racing experience in the past, but to make that does any of that translate over to racing a bus?
No.
No.
It's the basic figure eight rules. Don't hit somebody in the driver's door. Stuff like that.
But I'm assuming you're trying to take people out a little bit more in the buses because you're having a little bit more fun, whereas you're, in the regular figure eights.
Right. You want to take them out, but you don't want to take yourself out in the process.
Being the heads of the inspection team, I would assume that the racers go pretty easy on you guys, right?
No. Usually if we get somebody that, it's trying to win and they'll win a couple races, so they get a big X on their back. And,
Yeah.
So who determines
put on a show?
Who determines which bus everybody gets to drive?
We do,
So you have first choice then.
Well,
once you get in it, you just keep your same bus until it,
until it doesn't go again, and then we put you in a new one. And
right.
So
I gotcha. Okay. So is there any real strategy involved other than trying to wreck other people but not wreck yourself? Is that pretty much just it?
I don't know if there's strategy. I mean, just
basically,
like
it's a show.
any other racing, there's an opportunity. If somebody goes high, you go low, or if you, you can hit the brakes at the intersection if you want, but or
So you brake check people?
Oh, that's happened.
that's happened too.
So kind of like a late model or any race car, only 12 tires turn better than 6.
Yeah.
Yeah, right,
Exactly.
right.
I noticed a lot of those guys are running without, or just running on the rims. Does that?
Yeah, the track kind of frowns upon that because
I was wondering about that.
Yeah, I can see where that wouldn't be so good for the track. But so I mean, how did you guys get into to running figure eight school buses, I should say?
I think my first race was somebody else didn't show up, and Scott Schultz said, "Hey, you want to drive?" I said, "Yeah," and just kept us in there.
Well, and you've got a lot of laps in figure eight anyway, so you
Right.
kind of had it figured out.
Right.
And you've raced, you've pretty much raced everything at Flat Rock and Toledo,
Pretty
have you
much.
not?
Pretty
Yeah,
much.
you were 1987 street stock champion.
Yeah, that's a long time ago. Ron Miller was around back then.
Oh,
I bet.
Yeah. Well, I'm still around.
Well, they're still around too. They're just driving buses now.
Right.
Do you ever get behind the wheel of a regular car anymore, or is it just the school buses for you guys?
Just the school buses for me. I don't
Okay.
give up all that stuff. Now we're just inspecting cars and trying to keep everybody happy. And
Okay. What about have you guys ever raced on dirt? Are you
Never.
guys strictly asphalt guys?
I did once at Oakshade back in the 70s.
I think once I was in some kind of a figure eight thing at Monroe County Fair on dirt, but
Oh, but that was fun.
yeah.
Do you remember the Super Sixes at Oakshade back in the day, Ron?
Absolutely.
Yeah, I went out there one time and they asked me to come out there, and because I had an inline 6-cylinder, and they asked me to come out there. And then after I ran for about 5 laps running the track in, they made me load it up. They were nervous about that because my car had a full frame and they were mostly unibodies.
Oh,
So, but that was back in the day with Dale DeLong and
Bill Hahn.
those guys. But yeah, so I never really actually got to race there, but I did get to go around the track in my car. So.
So what? Each of you, when did you guys get your start in racing?
I started in 1977 at Flat Rock because that was the first year of the street stocks, and that was when it first started. They just wanted you to knock the windows out of the car and go. I mean,
That's when they were real street stocks.
well, that was not even. It wasn't very safe. but that class really did grow through the years.
I actually started in 1973 at Toledo in the figure 8 division.
In 73, they had actually gotten seat belts in them instead of rope to hold the drivers in.
Exactly. No window nets. None of that stuff. Hoosier recap tires. Remember those?
I do.
Yeah.
Towel City retreads.
Yeah.
John Markham loved those.
Yeah. George Folk. Remember George Folk?
Yep. I think John called them Canapolis tires.
Yeah.
So what's who's the most fun you've gotten to race against in each of your guys' racing careers?
Oh boy. I don't know. They're all fun. I mean,
Yeah.
Top 2. Who? Let's put it this way: who was your favorite guy to beat?
Chuck Hall.
Chuck
Yeah.
Hall.
Chuck Hall, Bob Stute. Those were my nemesis back in the day.
yeah.
Bob won a lot.
Yeah, he did. So did Chuck.
So did Chuck.
Chuck won the World Figure 8 Championship in 76 and 79. So he was a good race car driver.
So when did you guys make the switch from being race car drivers to tech inspectors / school bus racing?
I don't know. I think it started like 20 years ago. I just got tired of being out in the garage every single night. And this way I could still be involved with racing, just working for the track, and still doing it.
You've been racing doing the school bus figure 8s the same, Terry?
I think I started about 10 or 11 years ago. I was
Okay.
I was working with the Cook boys and Harold Cook and doing their helping with their cars every week, and then I did a stint with Terry Cook over at Thor Sport Racing, and I raced with them for about 5 years. I was a crew guy on there until I got too old to do it. It was like
What? Age
Like
discrimination.
52 years old, and I'm at Martinsville, and we're trying to do a pit stop, and I'm an over-the-wall guy. I carried the rear tires, and that was my last race, was at Martinsville. I said, this is too tough for me, for as old as I was at that time.
So you made the call, not the team.
Yeah.
Okay.
No, I could still run and play with the other boys, but it was just too much. So, but
How fun was that traveling with the truck series? I mean, that had to get tiresome after a while.
Well, no, it was a great time most of the time. I mean, the Cook boys were so much fun. Ron will remember those guys, but
Absolutely. Well, Jerry worked for me for quite a while.
Right, he did.
yeah, they were a ton of fun. But it was serious over there with the NASCAR side, But we had a great time. I mean, I've got to do a lot of stuff, being there, and then was a NASCAR official for 1 week at when ARCA sold to the NASCAR or whatever that was. But I went to Daytona, but that was the last one, and that was 2 years ago. But then I just concentrate on Toledo and Flat Rock and these buses. I mean, these buses are damn near a full-time job.
It sure is.
How many more school bus figure 8 events are there between Toledo and Flat Rock this year after tomorrow
Tomorrow night is the Monroe Superstore school bus race, and then July the 3rd at Flat Rock, and then we come back to Toledo in August, and then Flat Rock in September.
So you don't have much time to turn things around for that show.
We got a real quick turnaround time for this Flat Rock July 3rd race. So
it's got to be pretty. It's got to be pretty satisfying, guys, knowing that the work you put in on those buses creates probably the biggest crowds that the tracks see all year.
It's amazing.
Yeah.
It's amazing. Sometimes, I mean, it's standing room only sometimes, and it's
especially at Flat Rock, because Toledo's so big. We have so many stands, but at Flat Rock, I mean, the sheriff has to come and shut the gates. We have so many people there.
Need to put the backstretch stands back in.
Right.
Backstretch rowdies.
Yeah.
Nice. So who determines who gets to drive the buses? I mean, is there like a list of people? Is there like a waiting list because you have more?
It used to be almost anybody, and now we're trying to keep the same group together that does it every week, that does it every race, and then we'll throw in like
Kenny Schrader.
Kenny Schrader, or the figure 8 champion for the year. Put him in the last race.
Should get Ron to do it.
Yeah.
I think it'd be a good way to have the hammer down grudge race part 2.
I don't know about that.
Just saying.
School bus racing was in Kenny Schrader's bucket list. I don't think it was in Ron's.
I bet you'd do it. You'd do it, wouldn't you, Ron?
I don't know. Yeah, really.
Putting you on the spot.
When I started racing, it was at Toledo Speedway, and everyone that started racing back then started in figure 8. That was part of the rite of passage.
Yeah, that was it.
Wow. So who's competing tomorrow night then? Who do we got lined up?
So we got the Wisman group,
Junior and senior.
junior and senior.
Okay.
We got
AJ Paget.
Paget.
Okay.
We got Stephanie Bradley,
Stephanie
Oh
Bradley,
yeah.
the girl.
and she does a real nice job.
And Jack. And then we have Dave
Lambert.
Dave Lambert.
All right.
Yep.
Figure 8 guy.
Yep.
Well, looking forward to that again tomorrow night at Toledo Speedway. What about you got like flagpole racing?
We got flagpole. We got 5 or 6 boats ready to go. But people really like the boat race.
Um,
do you guys either you guys do that too, or you just get that
AJ
ready?
does a little bit.
I did it once, but we had our Dodge Dakota that we had here, and a couple of guys backed out of it. So Scott asked me if I'd just go out there and pull a boat until it came off. Well, it didn't come off, and I won the race with our Dodge Dakota. It wasn't even a race car.
Yeah, who was it on the last time at Toledo Speedway? There was one of the push trucks, I believe, was towing a boat because one of the cars wasn't working.
Yeah, that was AJ.
That was AJ
Okay.
the last race. Yeah.
Was there any rules about not hitting that vehicle and just going for the boat ahead of time?
Yeah,
Or was that...
that's the main thing, is try to get the boat off the trailer. If the boat comes off, you're done. But some of the guys like to run and hide because they really want to run to win the race. But mostly it's a show, so you hit them as hard as you can, knock the boat off. So
Now we've I've talked about this idea. There's a track in Illinois, Rockford Speedway, I believe, that does things you should not hit with a car. Right. And they'll just pick random things like a grill, and they'll put it on the front stretch, and they'll have older cars, and they'll come around 3 and 4 down the front stretch full speed, boom, thing explodes. They did one of those old satellite dishes. I mean, pretty much anything you can think of, they'll just hit it. Is that something that maybe you guys would do at Toledo Speedway?
well, 1 year
You wouldn't have to fix the stuff.
One year, AJ, we sawed the back half of a boat, and it was a pretty big boat, and we sawed the back half of it off, and he ran through it with his figure 8 car, and it really looked like he destroyed this whole boat, but most of it was cut out. He only had to go through the one side. That was kind of fun.
That's cheating. I think that's cheating.
And we had a porta potty.
I had a porta potty in the back of mine.
Yeah.
Wow.
That's fun.
Now, who decides that this is happening? Is this all Scott Schultz that decides this stuff? Or?
He comes up with some stuff, but
Yeah.
I tell you, he's been at this a lot of years.
All right. I got one last question for you. I know you guys got a lot of work to do with those buses still for tomorrow, but as far as being inspectors, what is some of the craziest things you've seen drivers try to do and get away with?
Oh boy, I mean we've caught pretty much everything there is to catch.
Yeah, mostly carburetors.
Carburetors, we've caught. You're not allowed to soak your tires here, so we catch that once in a while.
Stroke motors, a couple of those.
We've caught stroke motors. We've we try to check stuff before the race, so it's not a big deal. After nobody wants to get disqualified. Try to get somebody time to fix it.
Do you know of anybody that's actually gotten away with something that you didn't catch at the time?
I'm sure they do.
I'm sure of that.
I mean, yeah. I mean,
nobody came up to you and said, "Hey, Jack, guess what? Well, I got away with all
every
you."
time somebody wins a race, they'll come in and say, "Hey, that guy's got traction control." Well, I don't. We check for it, but
we so far we've not found anything like that, like traction control. We found, big carburetors. We found illegal motors. We found things like that, like the factory stocks. We keep finding they're not allowed to have jack bolts, so they try to get creative and put these jack bolt things in under the spring so that you can't see them, and they have to jack it up and adjust it. But we've caught those. And
what wasn't? Yeah, of course. You probably designed one of those for Terry Cook.
Yeah, we did.
Yeah. They forget we were in the early days. We didn't have that kind of money, We had to come up with something like that. So.
Well, guys, we appreciate the time again, Jack Franzil and Terry Smith, and you guys have a lot of racing experience there between you guys. Terry, you're not running the school bus figure eight?
No, I had a back issue at the beginning of the year. I hurt my back, so I'm going to take a little bit of time off and make sure that's healed up. I'm great. I don't have any problems or anything, no pain. But this year, Terrible Terry won't be out there in a bus. So,
but next year, possibility?
Oh yeah, I'm pretty sure. Unless Jack retires. If he retires, then both of us will retire.
Yeah, you never know.
Well, since Jack's racing tomorrow night and he's the winner of the first school bus figure eight, Terry, who's your pick to win tomorrow night at Toledo in the school bus figure eight?
Jack's always my pick, either to win it or flip me over.
That's only because you have to work with him.
Right.
Yeah, we're only in it for the money.
Yeah.
You get $100 to drive, and you get an extra $100 if you flip it over.
Really?
And we've taken a lot of rides.
Wait, who gets the $100? Is the person that gets flipped or the person that does the flipping?
The guy that gets flipped. They should split that.
Yeah.
Yeah, they should, because it's like
flippy. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I
50,
learned how
50.
to flip mine by myself, so I keep all the money.
Nice.
I didn't need any help. I just flipped it by myself, got the $100, and one night I did it 3 times in a row. And but
do you get $300?
No, he didn't give me $300. I only got $100, so I stopped that right away.
Yeah, I think
somehow we still got a 1099 at the end of the year.
Yeah. So,
need to work on the contract there a little bit.
Right.
So tomorrow night, Monroe Superstore School Bus Figure 8 race. Late Model Sportsman will also be in action. Regular Figure 8s, factory stocks, the boat Figure 8s, and the flagpole races. We didn't get to see that in the middle of May earlier tonight. We talked to Scott Schultz about that, but real quick, what's the flagpole racing?
It's hard to explain. It's like
they put a flag at the flag stand, and then one on the back stretch, and you have to go around it. You have to go all the way around it, make a lap around the track, go around the back one, and then come back around and make another lap around. It's
like a loop around the flag then on the back, and so
But you get some pretty good speed going down the back stretch.
You'll have a figure 8 car and a factory stock, and they're all mixed up. Different kind of cars.
Wait, so this is on the half mile?
No,
Okay. You said they get some speed there.
It sounds like a condensed version of the old 00 that they used to run at Mount Clemens.
Yeah, Mount Clemens. Yeah,
Right.
kind of like that.
That's right. I remember my parents talking about that. That's
Yep.
old people racing memories.
Hey, come on, Scott.
Sorry, guys. I apologize. Well, we look forward to that event tomorrow night, Toledo Speedway. Jack and Terry, thanks for joining us tonight.
All right.
Thank you.
Good seeing you guys.
Good seeing you,
Yeah,
Ron.
good seeing you.
Thanks a lot, guys. Have fun tomorrow.
Take care.
We'll
talk
see
to
you.
again. Yep.
So there you go. Jack Franzil, Terry Smith, working on those figure 8 school buses. And a lot of racing history between them. Did you race with each of them, Ron, or just Jack, or just Terry?
I knew Terry very well because I was close to the whole Cook clan, and he was an integral part of their racing program. So I got to know Terry pretty well back then. And I knew Jack because we did track service at Flat Rock and Toledo for a lot of years while Jack was racing. So yeah, I got to know him.
Gotcha. All right.
I don't know that I ever raced against him. Yeah, I could have.
If you did, you would have beat him, right?
When he started racing was when the company I was working for had me in the upstate New York area. So yeah, I don't think I ever raced against him. Could have.
All right. Jerry, you got the rest of the racing results from last weekend?
Yep. Just a side note, I saw in the comments, Charles DeGrange reminded us that Sam Hafercube Jr. did set a new track record at Waynesfield last night, 10.056 seconds, just a shade off. We're cracking in that 9-second bracket for the sprint cars. That track was juiced up, and they were flying.
Who's going to be the first one in the 9s?
I thought it was going to be Larson last night. I really did. Hafercube went out there and cracked the 10.05. I thought, oh boy, Larson's still to come. But the track just started to get a little bit smoother. The cushion started pushing up a little bit, and they just didn't quite get there. But it's coming for sure.
I'm thinking Cap Henry.
Cap's good there. Cap last night not so much, but Cap loves Waynesfield.
Yeah.
I could see that happening for sure. With that said, moving on with the racing roundup and NASCAR action, John Hunter Nemechek cruised to his 4th NASCAR Camping World Truck Series victory of the season on Saturday afternoon during the SpeedyCash.com 220 at Texas Motor Speedway. Nemechek crossed the finish line 3.3 seconds ahead of Chase Elliott. Ross Chastain finished a distant third, but failed post-race inspection and was regulated to last place, giving Grant Enfinger the 3rd place spot. Kyle Busch moved within 1 victory of the century mark in the NASCAR Xfinity Series with his 99th Series triumph Saturday afternoon at Texas Motor Speedway. Justin Allgaier, who led 23 laps, settled for 2nd, and Austin Cindric finished 3rd. Kyle Larson, fresh off back-to-back victories at Charlotte Motor Speedway and Sonoma Raceway, stormed to a $1 million payday during the NASCAR All-Star Race Sunday night at Texas Motor Speedway after a brilliant pass in a lane at the top of the track that no one else tried to use all evening in the last 10-lap round. Chase Elliott and William Byron started on the front row with Larson starting 3rd. He chose to start on the outside behind Elliott. Larson and Elliott ran side by side, and Keselowski snuck around the two to take the lead. Larson then passed Keselowski and went on to score his 2nd career All-Star victory over Keselowski and Elliott. Next up for NASCAR in the Cup Series, the Ally 400 at the Nashville Superspeedway on Sunday, June 20th at 3:30 p.m. on NBC Sports Network. The Xfinity Series, it's the Texas Lottery 250 at the Nashville Superspeedway on Saturday at 3:30 on NBC Sports Network, and the trucks are in action for the Rackley Roofing 200 at Nashville on Friday at 8 p.m. on Fox Sports 1. NTT IndyCar Series action. Marcus Ericsson scored his first career NTT IndyCar Series victory in Saturday's Chevrolet Detroit Grand Prix at Belle Isle. Will Power was leading when the second red flag came out with 5 laps to go. IndyCar officials brought the cars down the pit road but refused to let the teams bring fans out to cool the drivers and cars. After 7.5 minutes, officials ordered the cars refired. Power's car would not refire, forcing the team to replace the electronic control unit. Power returned to the race 3 laps down. Ericsson defeated Renus Piquet by 1.729 seconds. Pato O'Ward was 3rd. Pato charged his way to the top after the final restart with 7 laps to go to score his first NTT IndyCar Series win of the season in Sunday's Chevrolet Detroit Grand Prix of Belle Isle race number 2. O'Ward made up 15 positions from where he started and had 12 on-track passes for position. Joseph Newgarden finished 2nd at 6.75 seconds behind O'Ward. Alex Palou finished 3rd. Next up for IndyCar, the RAV Group Grand Prix at Road America in Wisconsin on Sunday, June 20th at noon on NBC. The Camping World SRX Series kicked off, made its debut Saturday night at Stafford Speedway with local favorite Doug Coby defeating a field full of racing legends to become the first winner in series history. Coby took the lead at the start, with Tony Stewart quickly took second from Waltrip. Coby, Biffle, and Marco Andretti traded the lead throughout the 100-lap feature. Coby took the lead on lap 64 for good, with Biffle and Stewart rounding out the podium. Next up for the SRX Series, Knoxville Raceway on Saturday at 8 p.m. on CBS. They have changed the format a little bit for that.
Did you get to watch any of that, either you two?
I did not. The only thing I saw of it was Doug Coby falling off the side of the car in victory lane.
I recorded it, but I missed like the last 20 laps or whatever it was because it ended late. But
you subscribe to Paramount Plus streaming service, you can catch the replay there. I do know that.
I've seen people saying that it was better racing than NASCAR.
Well, yeah, that's not saying much, but yeah, it wasn't too bad. And I like the rule changes, and we'll talk about the rule changes in a little bit. And there's one that I wish they would have done, because Greg Biffle had to go to a backup car, because they have a backup car so that everybody can start the feature. And tires were a big factor, because Stafford's a paved track. They're going to Knoxville this weekend, which is going to be dirt, so that'll be interesting and different. But on the paved track, the tires seem to make a big difference. And when he went to the backup car, everybody else is still, they run the same tires throughout the night, and he's got fresh tires on this backup car, so he's coming up through the field. And I'm like, I think maybe they should take the tires off of the car that's not, if they're not flat or damaged, take them off of that car, put them on the backup car, and kind of even things out, because I thought that was kind of an unfair advantage, and now maybe people will be trying to wreck their car, so they have a backup car for the feature. I don't know. But anyway, go ahead.
Yep. Moving on there. Let's see. Other notes for the racing roundup. Buddy Kofoid became the first repeat winner of the USAC Indiana Midget Week by taking the victory at Gas I-69 Speedway on Friday night. Saturday, Buddy finished in 7th place, which was good enough for him to capture his first Indiana Midget Week crown over Logan Seavey. Dirt Car Summer Nationals updates. Bobby Pierce took the lead at the drop of the green flag in the opening round of the Dirt Summer Nationals at Brownstown on Tuesday. Devin Moran found something around the top and passed Tim Lance with 7 laps to go and set sail for Pierce and fell short. Moran had to settle for second, and Lance finished third. Pierce made it 2 in a row last night at Peoria. Again, that was a hell of a race, with Brian Shirley finishing second. Ryan Unzicker, who led early, finished third. Devin Moran was right there as well. That was a fun race to watch. If the whole Hell Tour's like that, we're going to see a lot of guys. I don't want to say with tore up equipment, but definitely wore out. Let's say that, because those guys were beating and banging and putting everything on the line last night at Peoria. It was great to watch.
Do you know if Moran's running the full Hell Tour? Or is he
I saw that he's running at least the first week of it. I don't know beyond that.
Well, Dean, if you're listening, let us know. You know everything with your sponsored vehicles.
Yep. Next up for the Hell Tour, Kankakee, Illinois Speedway tonight, Tri-City, Illinois on Saturday. Sunday, it's LaSalle Speedway in Illinois and Spoon River Speedway next Thursday. So, that Peoria race, if the rest of the Hell Tour is anything like that, it's going to be fun to watch. And that does it for this week's Racing Roundup. Waiting to see, hopefully, Dean answers you here.
In the meantime, make sure to contact Freeze Frame Photos for all your racetrack. No, he's not running the full thing. Contact Freeze Frame Photos for all your racetrack photos, whether on the track or in Victory Lane. 24 years of memories at Oakshade, Toledo Speedway, and other local tracks. They can meet all your photo needs at the track or wherever. If you want to take a picture of your car in the woods, I'm sure they go for that too. They do photo shoots by appointment. Freeze Frame Photos, special moments frozen in time. Give them a call, 419-476-9978. Also, shout out to Millstream Speedway. Yeah, things are on hold there, and keep listening. There's something coming up a little bit later on tonight. Scott Warner's probably going, what's coming up later? I don't know what he's talking about. But make sure to follow Millstream Speedway on Twitter, Facebook, or millstreamspeedway.net. Got a little bit of racing news here before we get to our Twitter poll results and our chance to win.
Before you jump to that, Scott, Chris Mize said that June 11th, 2021, he's got things you shouldn't hit with a car.
Yeah, that was that
a
few days ago.
Show, or?
Yeah, it was. That's why I said we're going back in time.
Oh, okay.
That's why Doug chimed in and said 2022 ? Maybe that's what he meant. That makes more sense.
Chris,
that'd be a Saturday night. So
meant.
Yeah, I want to get behind that. Things you shouldn't hit with cars. That'd be kind of fun. Except for it's a Saturday night. Do it on a Friday night.
Yeah, or a Sunday.
There you go. Sunday. Moving on, some racing news. Corey LaJoy, he was sick of seeing a Kevin Harvick flag flying at a fan's house that was on his daily commute to work. Did you guys hear about that?
No.
Well, he was sick of seeing it, so he stopped and he left a flag of his own, a Corey LaJoy flag, on the homeowner's door with a note asking him to support the hometown driver. And I guess the guy said he missed him by just an hour or so, and took a picture of the flag and said thank you or something, but it was still in the container and hadn't been opened, and the Harvick flag, I think, was still flying. So, anyway. IndyCar racer Rinus VeeKay, is that how you pronounce it? Is it Rinus? He suffered a clavicle injury in a cycling accident on Monday. He had surgery to fix things, and he is now going to miss the Indy race at Road America this weekend in Wisconsin. So,
Betting he misses a couple of shows.
well, he's hoping to get back, and I would think that probably would be a bad thing to have happen, but I don't know. Mirrors are no longer allowed for the pure stocks at Sandusky Speedway, effective immediately. I didn't know they had mirrors. This makes me upset. They're allowed to have mirrors. I did not have a mirror. We don't have mirrors. I don't know what the reason. Well, Chris and Doug are on here. What's why no mirrors? What's the story behind that? I just saw that post and thought that was interesting there. And the SRX we announced, or Jerry alluded to earlier, that the SRX series announced some changes to their format, and I think most of the changes are pretty good. They make sense. Instead of 15-minute heat races, they are going to be 12 minutes. They were kind of long for a heat race, and they basically they start the timer. It just keeps going continuously. Once the timer stops, the next time the leader comes by the start-finish line, they throw the white flag. So cautions, whatever, it doesn't matter. It's just total time. And the 15
a lot of races have time limits, so why not?
Which is fine. I mean, but it just seemed a little long for heat races. And they line up the first heat race by drawing, and then the second heat race they invert. So if you finish first, you're going to start last in the second heat race. And the starting order of the feature will now be determined. I believe last week it was determined by where you finished in that second heat. Now it's going to be determined by your average finish in both heats, which I think is a little more fair. Yeah. I'm totally behind that. And then the feature was 100 laps. It was a little long, and I think that's part of the issue, too. They didn't get to do any post-race interviews or anything, and I didn't get to see the end of the race because my DVR only recorded till 10 o'clock. So they're cutting that, and I thought this was kind of a big cut, but they're cutting it from 100 laps total, 100 total laps, that included yellows, to 50 green flag laps. Which I think,
and I think that's going to make for better racing, especially at the dirt track. You're not going to wear the track out as far, and especially like places like Knoxville. That's going to make for a really good race.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see how those cars do on the dirt too. That could be
100 total laps could very well be 50 green ones anyway.
I'll definitely have to set my VCR or VCR. I do have a VCR, but I don't use it. But my DVR again. Maybe I'll add an extra half hour or so just in case.
I went to a discount store locally, and they had VHS tapes on sale in there, and I was like,
really?
I almost bought them just.
The only reason I have a VCR is just in case I need to convert something. It's hooked up to a computer so I can make things digital. But let's take a look at our Twitter poll for this week. Make sure I share the screen here. So last week's Twitter poll was, are you tired of seeing Kyle Larson? Wait a minute, I probably should refresh this because I think this was still active. So here, we're going to refresh this. Again, you can follow the Hammer Down Racing Report at Hammer Report on Twitter. And the Twitter poll results, survey says 3.1% said yes. 90.6% said no, we're not sick of seeing Kyle Larson win. And 6.3% said maybe. I don't know. So pretty much overwhelming. People like seeing Kyle Larson win, which is cool. I have no problem seeing him win.
No.
I like
the man
watching
is just,
him.
He's a natural talent. And you hear Jack Hewitt earlier or last night talking on Flow Racing when they interviewed him about how good Kyle is. For Tony say it that Kyle's the best racer he's ever seen. And Tony grew up a huge fan of AJ Foyt. For Tony Stewart to say something like that, that's pretty impressive. So
That must be that's the answer
That's
for the
on
mirrors.
mirror. Yep.
Yeah. What do they think they're at Daytona or something? What's going on? Possibly some blocking going on, I'm guessing, from that response. So
maybe just a little.
Yeah. I did see someone did make a comment, I believe, not until Kyle Larson wins a Formula One race or the Indy 500.
Yep.
I'm not going to say it. Rule it
Don't
out.
put it, yeah, I was going to say, don't put it past him. I mean,
he could show up
what
and
you
win
ask
the
for.
Keezer Memorial next summer at Lima Lane. I mean, you never know what the man's going to jump into and be fast.
I'll put it out there right now. I'll put it out there. If he wants to jump in my bomber for a Saturday night Oakshade, I'll give up my top 10 in points for him to be able to drive the Ocho.
That would be pretty awesome. That would be spectacular.
Yes. I want to thank Big D's Pizza and Subs, Ribs, Chicken, and more in Clyde. Give them a call, 419-547-1444. Order online at Order Big D's Pizza. Don't forget, he's got immediate openings for delivery drivers and cooks. Stop in to apply. Big on taste, not on price. Also, have to thank that guy down there at the bottom of our tic-tac-toe squares. Ron Miller Race Cars, yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Down there.
I was stopped in the shop yesterday, as a matter of fact. I needed to get some things to finish up a project I was working on, and saw one of the trucks he's got. Would you say it's halfway built, or is it not even halfway?
Oh, it's the hard part's done. It's really down to just bolting everything together now.
Oh, okay.
We're in good shape.
If I was going to race a truck, I'd probably take that truck. I probably couldn't afford it, but I'd probably take it.
Jamie Miller likes them.
734-856-7223. That's Ron Miller Race Cars, parts, safety equipment service, everything a racer needs, including advice. If you got some questions, set up questions, whatever.
Yeah.
Or like in my case, Ron, this is doing this. How do I fix this? So there you go. 734-856-7223. So last week's how many 410s were going to be at Attica for the opener of the Ohio Sprint Speed Week?
46.
That is the number. You were too late because we've passed the time on when you could guess. But 46.
I was late in the hospital, but I still got the car count. So.
That was the correct number. Ron was the winner. He guessed 41. I went under him and I lost there. So 41 was good enough for Ron to win. Online, our winner of a Big D's Pizza, Thomas Cole. He guessed 49. So just 3 off, but he was closest there. This week, it's we're going to do a little complicated thing, and I'll remember because it's actually on my prep now, and it's saved where we changed it a couple weeks ago, and I didn't write it down or anything, and almost blew things last week when we were revealing the winner, but we fixed it.
Now follow this, folks. It's going to be fun. There's a
lot of big
cards.
things. Yeah,
there's
a lot
of
of big things.
Wild cards in
that's
this
true.
one.
Yes, and you may want to wait until you hear Ryan Weekman's weekend weather pit stop, which will be coming up right after
momentarily.
Momentarily, right after we go through this week's racing events. And because tonight's how many 410 sprints are going to be at Lima Land for tomorrow night's.
But don't punch the button yet.
Sprint Speed Week show, and then also how many late models are going to be at Oakshade. So we're looking for one number, the total of the two.
The total.
How many late models will be at Oakshade on Saturday night for the Barney Oldfield, which sounds like it's going to be a pretty big show. So again, it's the total of Friday night. How many 410s are we going to have at Lima Land? How many late models at Oakshade? That total number is your guess. Tim Conover says 0. So he's saying that both are not happening, I guess. I don't know about that. You get one guess.
It's the total of both of them.
Yes. You get one guess, only one guess. If you guess more than once, you get black flagged. You have until, we'll say, we'll go until tomorrow at 3 p.m.
Sounds good, Scott.
I mean, and if you want to wait, you might want to do that because, by 3 o'clock, you may know the status of Lima Land should some weather move in. But then again, maybe not, because I think the weather's late. I didn't actually listen to Ryan Weekman's weather pit stop yet, so I'm making the guess without hearing the forecast.
It's definitely a toss-up as to what tomorrow's looking like from what I've seen. So let's see what Ryan has to say about it and go from there.
Well, check that out. Well, before that, we got to make our guesses before we get to that. And if you want to play along, go ahead and put your guess in on our Facebook Live or the YouTube broadcast. Just put your guess in the comments. Just a number like everybody else is doing here. The numbers I see are ranging from 0 to 57 to 72, 79. Again, this is the total combined number of 410s at Lima Land Friday night and late models at Oakshade Saturday night. So with that in mind, fellas, Ron, you won last week. You got to guess first this week.
Oh, this is getting old. I'm tired of winning.
Said nobody ever.
Oh, Scott, I'm going with 45.
Total? Oh, you're good. I think you're planning on weather playing a factor in this.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Jerry, spotlight's on you, man. And
I'm going to be optimistic. I'm going to be optimistic. I'm going to say 68.
68. Okay. I don't know. You want to break that down between the two tracks?
I'm not going to break it down completely. I'm just going to say a few guys are not going to make the trip all the way back from Muskingum County, knowing they have to go right back to Portsmouth with the chance of weather being a factor. So we're going to lose a few in the 410s, but I think we'll still get it in. So I'm confident that you guys are going to have 40-ish late models, and we'll have 26 to 30 sprint cars. So
I'm going to play the weather game too.
I think you're right on the sprints.
I think, and we should probably specify this as far as the sprints, because if you get rained out halfway through, that doesn't. They've already been showed. If as long as they get on the track for hot laps,
they take a green flag lap and hot laps. We'll have a car count. So.
Then that car count is however many cars are checked in at that time.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Yep. So that's how we'll figure that out for both tracks in any case. So I'm going to go with 46. I'm going to play the weather card as well, but just try and edge out.
There you go.
Ron.
One away from me again, Scott.
I'm going for the middle here. You didn't leave me much.
The best without going over. So if you guys,
nope, it's just the closest. Doesn't matter. You can go over, you can go under, whoever's closest. And our online winners, if we do have a tie, we'll spin the Big D's pizza wheel to determine the winner of, between the tiebreaker, I guess you could say. So this weekend's races, a little bit quiet this weekend, but some big events on tap. We got the Monroe Superstore School Bus Figure 8 tomorrow at Toledo Speedway. Late model sportsmen in action, figure eights, factory stocks, boat figure eights, flagpole race. Gates open at 5, racing at 7, and general admission is $19 there tomorrow night at Toledo Speedway. And then, of course, Lima Land with the All-Star Circuit of Champions. That's leg 7 of the Ohio Sprint Speed Week. Modified's also going to be in action. Pit gates open at 4:30. Grandstands at 5. Let's go. We'll go till 4 o'clock. We'll allow entries until 4 for listeners, right, since the pit gates don't open till 4:30. So pit gates at Lima Land at 4:30. Grandstands at 5, and racing scheduled to start at 7:30. General admission $22 for that big show. Attica is off because of the Ohio Sprint Speed Week at Lima Land there. So Attica's off this weekend. Oakshade on Saturday night. Another big event there, 5,000 to win, Barney Oldfield race, American Late Model Series event, Sportsman Bombers, Compacts, gates open at 4, racing at 7 p.m., general admission $14. That's going to be a pretty good value for your racing dollar, especially if the racing last week's any indication. We had some really good racing in the features. Flat Rock Speedway in action Saturday night as well. It's the Van Dorn Racing Development 100 featuring the ARCA CRA Super Late Models. They're going to be going 125 laps. So why is it at 100 then? I didn't even catch that. They're calling it the 100, but they're going 125 laps. The CRA Junior Late Models will also be in action. Street Stocks, Bandoleros also up there at Flat Rock. Gates open at 5, racing at 7. General admission for that show is $20. So that's it. You got four racing programs this weekend: 2 Friday night, 2 Saturday night.
You got a big one on Saturday down at Shady Bowl.
What do we got going on? Oh, that's right.
The street stocks. The Ohio Wheelman Street Stocks, $5,000 to win, 75-lap feature for them. Also the CRS Super Trucks in action. Let me bring that back up. Our minor Crown Vics and the Compacts all in action. Pit pass $30. Grandstand passes are $15. Seniors and kids ages 8 to 15 only $10. Kids 7 and under free. Free camping. Racing, I don't have my times up here right now. I apologize for that, but typically gates open at 2 for the pits and 4 for the grandstands. Practice starts right at 4. It should be an awesome show. Again, $5,000. It's the biggest street stock race in Ohio for. Oh, poor Scott, always getting picked on. Ron,
Well, no, my point to that is Ron's winning. He's been winning the past couple of weeks, so my Price is Right trick is not working, unfortunately. Yeah. Fremont's off, Sandusky Speedway's off, Eldora's off this weekend, so some of the regulars there. So now let's check out that weekend weather pit stop with Ryan Weekman, find out what's going on tomorrow. Actually, I got this like 5 minutes before we came on the air here, so I haven't even listened to it. So this is a fresh forecast as of about 7 o'clock, about an hour ago. So here you go.
Here is your weekend weather pit stop forecast. I'm First Alert meteorologist Ryan Weekman. A first alert day for Friday, mainly for the chance for rain early in the day, but there will be some scattered pop-up showers and thunderstorms later in the day as well. And well, that's what you're here for, right? For the Friday races, Toledo Speedway and down at Limaland Motorsports Park. Both of those starting at or just a little after 7 p.m. And we will have to contend with the chance for some downpours, more at Lima than we will up in Toledo. I'd be concerned that we could see some delays down in Limaland with areas of heavy rainfall, lightning, possible through around 8 or 9 p.m. Hopefully, though, that rain stays scattered enough and races will get in. Saturday, Oakshade and Flat Rock could see some scattered showers or storms earlier in the day. But by the time we get towards race time there, especially up into Michigan, I think we should be pretty good. It will be warm. It will be muggy both days. Highs well into the 80s. As always, get that First Alert weather app. You can check out the radar, and we'll send you personalized notifications and videos to keep you ahead of any of that rough weather over the next 48 hours. I'm First Alert meteorologist Ryan Weekman.
There he goes. Sounds like he was picking on Lima there.
I mean, I've been watching the forecast the last couple of days, and he's smack on with what I've seen everywhere. There's a chance that we get hammered, and there's a chance that we get nothing.
Yeah,
it's really 50-50, and I'm really hoping that.
We had that issue at Oakshade last weekend, Saturday. It looked like everybody was saying, yeah, it's going to rain about 7, 8 o'clock. Not a drop. The only drops that I got on my car were from the water truck when it went in front of me in the pits.
He's just helping you get it cleaned off and ready to look good for the feature.
No, actually, I came back from the tower and got to my car, and there was like the little drop marks in the dust on it. I was like, did it rain? What was it? It's like, no, it was the water truck went by. I'm like, oh, okay. So, yeah.
Your crew chief says hi. I'm going to tell Robin hi. Glad to be back. So,
all right.
Looking at the how many, Doug Frost is saying 79, and I'm thinking that could almost be a good number if.
It depends on what Mother Nature does. You never know.
I really think the distance between if they didn't have them hopping across the state back and forth, I think it'd be right on the money. I just think that you're not going to have as many sprint cars show up just because of that long drive.
But at the same time, though, for as far as how many goes, like we said, what time does qualifying or hot lap start?
Yep. How brave
pit gates open at 4:30. We hot lap at 6:30. So we may start hot laps before.
That's it. How brave are you going to be for a Big D's pizza?
There you go. I want to thank our associate producer Dave Kemmer, field correspondents Matt Swanner and Doug Dock. We'll be back next week with another full show. Before we finish off this one, we do have a Hammer Down hotline to get to. I almost forgot about that.
Notice Tim Conover in the chat as well. Jordan Conover making his first start in McKenzie's number 4 late model.
Right. That's right.
Well, that's going to be fun. I'm excited to hear how Jordan does. Yeah, at Oakshade Raceway. Very, very cool. I hope he does well and wish them the best. So.
Yeah, I guess he jumped in that. Brian Fisher ran it in competition Saturday night, and then after the races were over, I saw the 4-car going around there. It wasn't until I got home later I saw on social media it was Jordan Conover. It's the first time in a late model, so he looked pretty excited and sounded pretty good. Wasn't watching because I didn't realize it was him out there, but yeah.
I promise everybody, no more lawnmower racing in my future.
Was it a race? Okay.
It was not a race. No, it was just a fluke accident.
I already know too much, and I just
a lot of people know too much.
I would prefer it have been a lawnmower racing thing.
Right. Right. At least I could have said I was having fun when it happened.
Boy, now I can't. No. Let's check out our Hammer Down hotline because this actually could be interesting, and I'm going to let Ron comment on it.
Yeah, I was just wondering if you guys had the inside scoop for what's going on down there in Findlay, Millstream Speedway. It's just hard to believe you can have so many promoters with such difficulty. Is the owner of the property the cause for this? Are these people putting in all their time, money, and effort for absolutely no benefit to themselves? Just curious if you guys really know what's going on. Thanks. Bye-bye.
I can say I'm not privy to what went on between any of the previous promoters and the owner. Knowing Scott Warner, we've got a little bit of insight on some things. And there again, we don't know the whole story. So, there's some things that need to get done, and they're trying to figure out how to get them done.
How to get it done.
And that's pretty much the bottom line at this point. They're trying to they haven't pulled the plug on it. It's not a done deal.
I've heard from a lot of people that Scott Warner has pulled the plug. There's not going to be any racing this year. Let me assure you that is the furthest thing from Scott Warner's.
He's just kind of taking a step back to try and figure out
to get this all sorted out.
Yeah, where to go from here. He's the first-time promoter again. We've been trying to help him out as best we can as well. And
I wish Scott absolutely nothing but the best. I hope that things change and we get to go racing in Millstream. I can't. I mean,
we've heard the same story. We've heard the same stories that everybody else has heard. And this, the same frustrations. It's like a broken record. And I even talked to Scott when this happened and said, this is gonna sound like the same exact thing, and people are gonna be having that same reaction. And
the good news is, I know there is a player involved. I can't say a name, who is desperately trying to get a hold of Greg Rose. So if Greg Rose watching this, give that individual a call back, because they are very, very interested and have a blank check to buy
a blank
Millstream
check.
Speedway.
I'll take the blank check.
So that's all I can say. I want to say more, but I can't. But I've had several discussions with this individual this week. They've been bombarding me trying to get different phone numbers. I've given them Scott's number.
Was it Chris Mize? Because Chris Mize wants to put on his own race there.
I don't know if
you
Chris.
saw that.
Chris, I didn't mean to put you out there like that, but no. So
there's things that are still being figured out. And
there's all kinds of wheels turning. So people
don't give up all hope yet, but we understand.
There are several people that want racing to happen at Millstream, and if it can happen, it's going to happen.
I would like it to happen.
I would love for it to happen. One of my favorite racetracks of all time.
The really neat thing is that there are so many big businesses in the Findlay area that once the track is open, finding some sponsor support should be pretty easy.
I think so.
People that love the racetrack, love racing.
It's just a matter of getting the ball rolling. Once the ball gets rolling, it'll snowball.
Yeah, absolutely.
So there you go. Thank you for that call. See, look, that was like a real call. It actually led to some discussion.
Yeah, absolutely. That was awesome.
Yeah. So if you want to leave a message for next week's show in the Hammer Down hotline, there's the number 419-318-3081. Once again, that's 419-318-3081. You can call anytime, night or day. And I was watching Jerry's reaction during, that call was playing. That's all I can say. Can you see, Ron, can you see Jerry when there's something on the screen? You can't? Okay.
No, I can't see Ron either. But yeah, I know you can see all of us at all times.
I'm not going to say anything then. We'll just move on. How about we finish the show now? Let's get the heck out of here. It's really hot in this. I need to turn
Have a great weekend, everybody. Wherever you go racing, make sure you support your local track. Look forward to seeing you guys wherever we're at.
Yeah, it was nice having Jerry back for a full show.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah. Thanks.
Maybe someday he can explain why he wasn't here.
Someday we can look back and laugh on it. Hard.
Great fruits.
Anyway, totally lost my train of thought. Thanks to Jack Franzil, Terry Smith for joining us tonight. Glad they didn't have to witness that. I want to thank our sponsors again. Oakshade Raceway, Real Geese Silhouette Decoys, Millstream Speedway. And that's another thing, I mean, they're still a sponsor of the show. They were cutting the deal. If they were done, they wouldn't. I talked to them about you want to keep doing the sponsorship. So it's still, the wheels are still going there. It's Millstream Speedway.
Absolutely.
Big D's Pizza, Ron Miller Race Cars, and, of course, Freeze Frame Photos. Get out to a track, support them this weekend. We'll be back in action on Thursday night, 7 o'clock right here. Facebook Live, YouTube Live, Twitter Live, and then on demand anytime. Thanks for listening in India. We appreciate it. Keep showing us the support. We appreciate it.
Yeah.
Go eat your pizza, Ron.
Will do. Actually, Mama's fixing dinner tonight.
Oh, wow. That's why the dogs haven't barked.
Not a clue. Yeah, not a clue
crazy.
what it is.
All right, guys. We'll see ya. Have a good weekend. Enjoy the racing.
Go racing somewhere. Watch, race, whatever you got to do, but be there.
I clicked on the thing. It didn't happen. Let's try again. All right. Be there.
Let's go racing.
There you go.
You have been listening to the Hammer Down Racing Report, available on demand on iTunes, Google Podcasts, Spotify, or your favorite podcasting platform.